Well, as you can see, this video is not particularly about comic books. So we're going to see, we're going to talk about Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. As you can tell, if you've already clicked on this, this is not about comic books this time. This is a real quick video. We always showing different stuff in our collection, and I read different things besides comic books. As you can tell from the shirt that I'm wearing, I'm a super duper big fan of Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time. Reading the books way back in like 10th grade, I believe. But never really got into fantasy or science fiction novels or whatever. Thank God for my wife. She brought me to the bookstore, and it's been a ride ever since, pretty much. But I'm going to try to make this video short. There are 14 books in this series, not including the novella that he wrote, and the Wheel of Time companion that I had. I had a big giant matte book of the Wheel of Time. Apparently I got rid of it. But you know, I'm not gonna go into the history of Robert Jordan, this and that, or whatever. Just showing my little collection of books. Some of them are beat to smithereens. But I did have 2 of book 1. This is a hardcover that I did purchase at a book signing for Robert Jordan when book 11 came out, which was actually the last book that he was able to physically write himself. A very tall man, Robert Jordan was, and to me, a genius of a writer, extremely poetic and extremely descriptive in his way of speaking. Doesn't have the embossed cover the way the rest of them do, but it is a first printing, I believe. Yes, it is a first edition. It is a first edition, and it is signed by Robert Jordan. That is not a photocopy of that. And yes, like a comic book collector, I have my book wrapped in plastic, and I do this to preserve the autograph now that he's passed away, but also I got the ebooks, so why not try to preserve the book as best I can. But some of my books are beat. I never put that over there by itself. Never rebought many of them. I did have The Great Hunt, which is book 2. I had this as a small paperback. So when I first bought the series, they didn't have book 1. So like a weird person, I bought book 2 and I started reading it. And I had Walden Books. They were still open back in those days. Order book 1 for me when book 1 came, and they couldn't reorder the hardcover for whatever reason. But it was like an oversized paperback. So I got that, stopped reading this, started reading book 1, and then picked this back up. I just got this off of eBay. I wanted a hardcover that was the same size as the rest of the books. Book 3, The Dragon Reborn. Being kind of a novice into the high fantasy reading thing and buying books, I thought it was a trilogy. So when The Dragon Reborn came out, I thought this was the last book, when ultimately he did not fight the Dark One in this book. And it seemed, walking around high school with those books, I wasn't one to get tripped and my books knocked out of my hand. I didn't go for that. But there was a lot of talk about me carrying a Bible around and this and that. Not that that's a bad thing. And one summer I was sitting here kind of doing nothing, waiting for book 4 to come out, wondering what was going to happen. And when The Shadow Rising came out, this book here is my favorite out of the entire series. I mean, I think I've read this book 7 times. I went through the series maybe 3 times total. But I read this book. I went from book 1 to book 5 at least 7 times. And I may do it again. Those first 4 books. These first 4 books was amazing. But The Shadow Rising was a great book just because of the progression the 3 main characters had. And I know a lot of people probably watching this wonder what I think about the Wheel of Time TV series and this and that. Me and my daughter originally was supposed to be reviewing it together. That didn't seem to take. Everybody seemed to like my daughter reviewing it better than me. Go figure. And then I got COVID and she got COVID too. And that was the end of that. Came home from the hospital. Didn't want to finish it because I wasn't too happy with it. I finished it and I just laughed on my sick bed. I hated The Wheel of Time on Amazon. Don't turn the video off. Book 5, The Fires of Heaven. One of the weaker books, I believe, but still a beast of a book. A lot of political intrigue and only but so much action and stuff. Robert Jordan's third act is always super duper dope. And as far as reading order, this little one-shot novella, New Spring, which is a prequel, which shows one of the main characters, Moraine Domodred, looking for her water, who's like her bonded bodyguard for those that don't know about the Wheel of Time. It's a pretty good book. I would definitely read this. After The Fires of Heaven, I would read this. You get a little more insight to Moraine. Then it begins to pick up again. Another as you can see, Robert Jordan really didn't care about your time. He was going to give it to you. Book 6, this book 6? Yes, The Lord of Chaos, which definitely had one of the best endings out of all of these books. Book 4 is still my favorite, but The Lord of Chaos definitely had a really dope ending, man. And it made the main character, Randolph Thor, did have a little Sith in him. But it was much deserved. Book 7, The Crown of Swords. I think this was one of the boring ones. Not that, but you got to get through the series. Everything can't be a 10. Can it? As the comic guy said, everything can't be 9-8 white pages. You know what I mean? But it was still dope. Book 8, which was one of the dopest covers, even though it might have not been one of the dopest books. A lot of Sean Chan mess in this book. A Path of Daggers. Well, The Path of Daggers, book 8, was just magnificent. I guess I should have been showing you guys the back of these covers. But some of them are kind of bland or whatever. I know, what was that book here? The Dragon Reborn. The back was pretty dope. The back of it was pretty dope on The Dragon Reborn. But the rest of them were meh. Obviously, most of the flavor is on the front cover. Book 9. A lot of people didn't like this, but I liked it, even though, they talked about Perrin being emo and all this other type of stuff. But I guess cats that aren't that close with their wife, or dudes that be like, well, the mission goes ahead of my wife, or whatever, would feel differently about it. But Winter's Heart was a dope book. Also, you get to see some really nice shenanigans with Randolph Thor. Book was fire. Of course, to me, my favorite character, and people probably wonder why, book 4 made Matt Cawthon. Always like Matt Cawthon because he reminds me of Gambit from the X-Men. And Matt Cawthon was my favorite character. And book 4 really started showing him coming into his own. Crossroads of Twilight. What's this? Book 10. Always loved any of the books that had Matt Cawthon in it. I mean, one of these books here just like skipped right over him, which was extremely annoying. He wasn't in it at all, which I don't know. Well, I guess he had to do that. There was so much going on, and the now 6 main characters were all split up in different places. But super duper 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 dope. It is here. And the last book that Robert Jordan did was book 11, which he came out here to Long Island to the book review in Huntington, where I also had my other book signed, book 1 signed. And a lot of people don't know, or a lot of people don't talk about it. At that book signing, he said there was only supposed to be 1 book after this. He said if it had to be 3,000 pages, he was only going to write 1 last book. Obviously, he was saying that because he was sick at the time. And he said if there was another series, this book also is signed. That is ink. That is not a reproduction. And he said he would like to do 1 more series, and I believe he called it Infinite Heaven. We never got to read it, but Robert Jordan shortly died after that, and we thought we would never see the end of the series again. But Brandon Sanderson, who many of you know from his Cosmere Stormlight stuff and Mistborn stuff, was selected to finish Robert Jordan's great work. And I say it is a great work. To me, Robert Jordan is like the Michael Jordan of fantasy writing. He started what Tolkien, he finished what Tolkien started, personally speaking. And Brandon Sanderson did 3 books from the notes that was left to him by Robert Jordan. And these books, all 3 of them, are beasts. They're ridiculous. And the first book by Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson was The Gathering Storm. And you see the main character there and his hand hidden on the side. Something traumatic happened in the Knife of Dreams. Very, very dope fight. I mean, Rand al'Thor has some monsters on his team. And, not the most beautiful cover. We got the back there. Keep forgetting to show the back because it doesn't matter. And The Towers of Midnight, another book that I guess can be one of my favorites. Now this is a beast right there. You know? That thing right there, man. Bringing this thing to work was a pain in the behind, but I was working at the barbershop at the time, so it just went right on the shelf. And it is the book itself is in pretty good condition. No extra flyaway hairs from cutting hair, nothing on it. His thing was a beast. And I believe they put a facsimile autograph of Robert Jordan in all of these books. That is a photocopy of Robert Jordan's signature. And it is in all 3 books. And the last book, this book, I admit, you know what I mean? The whole series has like bits where you would definitely cry. You know, it's definitely things that pull at the heartstrings or whatever, stuff that make you laugh. You can laugh out loud reading the book, you know it's good. But The Memory of Light, man, when this came out, I was ecstatic. I had this on my computer for the background picture for at least 2 years. And I was just ecstatic when this book came out, and also saddened at the same time. remembering the passing of Robert Jordan. But this series is just dope. And I bought this recently. Always seen it in the bookstore, but I needed this right there. The Wheel of Time Companion by Robert Jordan and Harriet McDougal. That's his wife. Listen to me, people. Everybody that's going to continue watching The Wheel of Time, they did not use this as a reference, because if they did, they would have seen, we like our diversity and all this other type of stuff, which is fine with me. But just, I don't know. Some things just need to be left alone. That is Matt from Collectin. And I'll leave it at that. So that is my Wheel of Time collection. I will definitely probably pick up that, I think it's like the 30th anniversary or something like that edition that they have. That's why Amazon for super cheap. I might pick it up, throw it in some plastic. But thank you all for watching, bearing with me, showing some more cool stuff from my collection that is not comic books. If you are a lover of comic books, collectibles, movies, video games, like this video, subscribe, and I will see you soon. As always, my people, as always, be great and do great. Peace.